Hey guys, what is up? This is Cody. For xCodeh. How's it going today? Hope everybody watching this video is having yourself a snazzy day. Let me know in the comments down below where you're watching the video from, inside or outside of the United States. On today's video, I have a story to tell you guys about the first time that I ever got arrested. I've only been arrested twice, not to make it sound like I'm some hardened criminal, alright? Just a few minor bank heists and GTAs on my record, no big deal though. The story takes place when I can't remember if I was 12 or 13 years old, but I do remember I was young enough to make very stupid decisions. I was sitting here, before I make these videos, I like to notepad it, write some key points of the story just to refresh my memory. I'm sitting here typing this out. This is the stupidest thing I ever done, truly. Alright, it was me and a good friend hanging out at my house. Warm summer day. Jack shit to do. Didn't have any weed. Probably had a couple cigs left in the pack. Scraping bowls for resin fiend mode. Listen. And I stumble across this one thing that I got as a gift in the previous year for my birthday. It was like a dart gun, but it shot little tiny paintballs. It was cool at the time, but it just didn't work really well. Like, maybe I wasn't using it correctly, but whenever I'd try to do it, the paintballs wouldn't go very far. Like, it would just go like right in front of me. So I never used it that much, but I remember finding it on this warm summer day. And I grabbed the ball of paintballs, left the dart gun behind, and said, "Hey man, let's go throw these around the town." My friend looks back at me, "Fuck yeah, dude, let's go do it." This was a monumentally genius idea at the time. So we each get a handful of these paintballs. So we're walking through the streets of my town, throwing them around and throwing them at stop signs and stuff, having a great time. And eventually, we end up in a spot we used to hang out at when I was a kid because it had like a pretty decent, alright? Let's say like I wouldn't say an S-tier playground, but it was up there, alright? It was up there, definitely. So we end up at this elementary school, chilling around the playground with all these paintballs. We're throwing them at the basketball hoops. And then I get this bright idea, the brightest of all ideas, man. I look over, and they had just recently reconstructed the whole section of the elementary school. And they added this huge cafeteria section that was all glass. Like, the whole wall was all glass. It was fresh. Kids haven't even seen it yet because it was the summertime and it was like when they just finished it. So like, hadn't even been used yet. And I'm like, dude, just throw them at the windows. So we go over to this window, dude. We got a handful of paintballs. We're just chucking them hard as we can. Every window, every like pane of windows, we're trying to get one on each one. We're sitting there laughing, having a good time. And now listen, I'm not saying that this whole array of windows couldn't have been a piece of contemporary art sold at $10 million. I couldn't tell you if it would or wouldn't have sold, but it looked like shit. Definitely. Just terrible. It wasn't even good quality paintballs. It was really shitty, so it was just like smearing all over the place. Didn't even stay. It looked terrible. Looked like you threw a bunch of crab apples at a window. We left the scene of our crime with a smile on our face. And I'll be honest with you, the moment we stepped foot off of the property, like away from the school, I didn't think anything of it. I literally forgot about it. I thought it was funny. Maybe we talked about it later that day, but that was it. I completely forgot it happened. I was at a point in my life where I just didn't fucking care. In the moment, I didn't think about who was gonna clean it up, or maybe I thought it was just gonna wash away with some rain. A couple days goes by. I don't remember where I am, but one of my parents gets a call. And they're like, "Hey, your son was on camera vandalizing the elementary school. And the police want me to come down with my parents to go talk to them at the police station." The panic, the fear just builds up. 13 years old. I didn't even remember I did this. This was a week ago, all right? I was on to bigger and better things at this point. The worst part, they had already talked to my other friend, and he told them everything, all right? He already admitted to everything. They said it right up front, all right? It was like a day later. I got my button-up shirt on, sweating, all right? Freaking out. There with both my parents, go over to the local police station. Never even been in there before, all right? Go in there, shivering. Go downstairs to like where you get booked in, all right? I think they like walked me by that just to get me real shook. Go into this room that looks like an interrogation room. I sit down, both my parents sit at a table behind me, and there's like 4 or 5 cops in front of me with like, looked like a board of education meeting at school when you get suspended, kinda. Not good vibes. They sit down, they're not happy. All right, they're not happy at all. They got a bunch of papers, they're sorting through them, the classic, you know, with the paper stack on the table. So Cody, we got you on camera. We know what you did. And I'm like, shit. And the best thing is they're opening this pamphlet, this folder of disappointment. They're just flipping through pics. They got tons of pics. It's like a slideshow of me, arm back, handful of paint like this. Next pic, next pic, next pic, and then they had pics of both me and my friend pointing and laughing. Just terrible. Just absolutely terrible. There's no way you could ever say it wasn't you. And the worst part, this is where it gets even better. The cherry on top. Listen, I was a little rebel, 13. Fuck yeah, I don't want to be dressed up. I had a button-up shirt on, but I had it unbuttoned. I was wearing the same shirt in the pictures as the same day that I was sitting there. And they noticed. They're like, same shirt, huh? It's definitely you. You got the hair, you got the same shirt. This is you. And I'm like, that's it. Caught an 8K resolution. So they decided to give me and my friend, I believe it was 6 hours of community service. So I ended up one of the first, or like the third, it was like the first or third day of summer vacation. You know, right when you're like, fuck yeah, off of school, dope plans with your friends, like the best time ever. No. You got to wake up at 9 a.m. and go to the other elementary school. It was actually the elementary school that I went to when I was growing up. So that was kind of cool, I guess. But yard work is definitely not my forte, but I had to dig up a bunch of weeds and remulch this entire island in front of the parking lot. I had to help one of the gardeners rip up this big tree in the back of the school. And then this was the top of the cake, dude. One of the days I had to go down to the cafeteria and wipe down every single fucking chair, every single one, and stack them all up on the tables. It took me a minute. And listen, did it teach me a lesson? No, it definitely didn't. Honestly, my behavior just got way worse after this, but it made for this story, all right? So listen, I get to tell a story of the first time I ever got arrested. It was ridiculously stupid. It was come on, dude. Like, absolutely ridiculous. Do I even have to tell you not to do this? You know, I usually say that briefly at the end of a story, like, yeah, don't be an idiot like me, but dude, this is common sense. Don't throw paintballs on camera at a fucking school. But yeah, you'll get arrested. This is what happens. Now, I didn't tell you about the worst part of the entire story. This is what I actually do feel bad about. The very worst part about this story. I almost didn't want to put this in because I really do feel bad about this. The person who ended up having to clean up the paint off the windows had to go to work overtime and miss his granddaughter's graduation because he was cleaning up the paint on the window. Dude, I don't think I've ever felt like such a fucking asshole in my entire life. That's bad. That's fucked. That's like an Eric Foreman moment right there. Thank you to each and every one of you guys who support me on Patreon. For $1 or $2 a month, you can support the channel and get access to the secret unlisted videos that I've been making over there on Patreon. More information in the link in the description. That's a lot of names there, man. I really do appreciate each and every one of you guys for the support. It helps me out a ton. So yeah, the moral of the story is don't throw paintballs at schools, I guess. If that didn't already seem like a bad idea in your mind, it should. It definitely should. Thank you for spending the time out of your day to watch my video. Leave a like on it if you did. Add it to your favorites. Rate it 5 stars. Subscribe to the channel. Turn the notifications on. Stay high, stay lifted, and stay snazzy. Follow my cat on Instagram. Peace.